Today we will discuss about the proof of truth. The proof of truth. Ultimately, the ultimate reality is transcendental. It is not perceived by the senses or comprehended by the mind. That is why truth is avang manaso gocharam. Avang cannot be speak of, cannot be spoken of. Amanasaha cannot be thought of, or manasaha agochara, beyond mind. मन की गोचर नहीं, मन की लिमिटेशन में नहीं. Sorry. It is a matter of indubitable experience or indoubtable experience for the inmost consciousness of man and woman. It is directly and immediately experienced without the instrumentality of the senses and the mind, and does not depend for its proof upon any external authority. So, this is called immediate knowledge, some pratyaksha jnanam, direct knowledge means we are seeing something else, we are hearing something else, and we are getting the knowledge. Apratyaksha jnanam means we are hearing something else and we are comparing. But this is immediate knowledge. And because it is there, no extra thing cannot be heard of, cannot be seen. The experience I mostly give that in a no moon or new moon night in a village or in a jungle, dense rainforest, where we can't see even our hands, leave about other things. There also, we never doubt of our existence. Maybe we have doubt of the existence of our body, that whether it is there or not, because it is not visible to me. But the existence of I, it never goes. Even in deep sleep state, where everything drops out, when we come out from the deep sleep, the first thought comes, I am. That is called immediate experience It doesn't need any external authority. The perception of the external world is neither direct nor immediate, but is dependent upon the senses and the mind and is always colored by them. On the other hand, the experience of reality is both immediate and direct and becomes possible only when the senses and the mind, through the practice of rigid spiritual discipline, have been made absolutely calm. Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena tu samah. Constant, regular practice and for a long day with the proper understanding makes easier for us to realize the truth. It is the consciousness in man that experiences the universal consciousness, the two being in reality identical. But there are infinite possibilities of self-deception. To protect the aspirant from error and delusion, the seer, the rishis of Vedanta, given us three criteria of truth. There are scriptural authority or Shruti, first one. Second one is reasoning or Yukti. And third one, personal experience or Anubhuti. So, Shruti, Yukti and Anubhuti or Anubhava. Any of these may enable a man to realize partial truth. But when all three point to the same conclusion, the aspirant may be assured that he has realized the whole of truth. Because if we only Shruti based, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years studying Vedanta, good. But when either 7 to 8 or 9 to 10 finish, or any Jnana Yajna, decorating myself very nicely, and it's a big listener, gives a lot of donations, want to see his or her name first, where it is given in the souvenir. And listening to Vedanta 1 hour a day is not like that. What about I am listening? We have to churn it. Manthana is needed. Manthana is mananam. Constant. And practice sadhana chatushtaya, and what about I have heard in the class. Not like that, বৌমা সৎসঙ্গের কথা সৎসঙ্গে রেখে আসতে হয়. It's not like that. When for a long time with the proper understanding what the knowledge has been imparted by the Guru, there remain the three things in the same line: Shruti, scripture, Yukti, reasoning, and Mananam, and Anubhuti, personal experiences. Then only the whole truth comes to me clearer. The meaning of the scriptures, which contain the recorded experiences of the knower of the truth of the past, must be explained by a competent teacher. In order to free reasoning from the pitfalls of rationalization, rigorous mental disciplines, and prescribed so that the aspirant may be grounded in detachment not only from the external world but also from his own pet ideas and exclusive loyalties. The aspirant must be able to view his own thinking objectively and submit it to a searching analysis. Ultimate values must be judged by the standard of eternity and not of time. Lastly, the conclusions of the scriptures, reaffirmed by reasoning, must be experienced by the aspirant or sadhaka himself. Ultimate truth, which is the basis of the universe, is always self-evident and non-contradictory and free from fear and friction. The rishis, the seer, perceives truth everywhere and in everything. And thus becomes completely free from fear, completely free from sorrow, completely free from expectation, which characterize the life of falsehood in the relative world. A spirit of synthesis generally pervades the philosophy of Vedanta. The search is always directed to the discovery of the first principle through which the multiplicity of the universe can be known and explained. The Hindu seer or rishi insists that the aspirant after knowledge should first, through self-control, atma sanyom, and meditation, dhyanam, realize the ultimate reality. Only then can be known the nature of the world. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna used to say, তাঁকে জানার নাম জ্ঞান, বাকি সব কিছু অজ্ঞান. What does it mean? To know the many without knowledge of the one is ignorance. To know the many without knowledge of the substratum is ignorance. Whereas to know the one means to know the substratum is knowledge. But it must not be overlooked that some noted Indian philosophers such as Maharshi Kapila and Maharshi Patanjali have shown remarkable documents, acumen in their analysis of the mind and the material world. Now we will come to the 4 stages of life. The Hindu view of life as conceived in the Vedas is spiritual. It has a spiritual end designated as moksha or liberation. Material enjoyments which are necessary and legitimate at certain periods of time should be so regulated that in the end they may lead men to the attainment of the highest good. No finite experience can permanently satisfy the craving of the soul, which is of the nature of infinite spirit. Nevertheless, in the lower stage of evolution, the appetite for material things cannot be ignored. If this appetite is suppressed or inhibited, an unhealthy condition is created affecting both man's body and his mind. The Hindu philosophers want us gradually to transform the inclinations of the senses, inclinations of will, inclinations of mind, so that they may become man's helpers in the attainment of his spiritual end and not remain his enemies. The various divisions of individual and social life is described in Vedas and the Puranas bear out the ideal of man's spiritual destiny. Hindu philosophy or Vedanta is not an absurd philosophy. It deals with the hardcore reality. It never ignores the lower tendencies or lower vasanas, desires, which is always pulling us. Vedanta accepts us. Vedanta accepts punarjanma, that the same jiva took many births before this birth, and each and every birth that jiva has accumulated a lot of vasanas. I want that, I want that, I want that, I want that. And without fulfilling those vasanas, those desires, that jiva died with the unfulfilled desire. Whenever that jiva takes birth again, it borns with the previous birth desires. That is why we will find in our own life, or if we see the other's life, we will find, suppose a person, a boy, is in ashrama from his very childhood, very childhood, when nothing has flourished, mind, intellect, in a pure state of mind. But as long as he is growing up, he is forgetting all his good teachings, what he has received in this age, in this life. And all his old past vasanas are pulling down him. Everyone is noticing except him. That is the intellectuality. When I can understand my failure, when I can understand my drawbacks, when I can understand my faults before others understand how much my academic qualification, whether I am graduate or master's or PhD holder, it doesn't matter. It's a completely different thing. But understanding my own self, my own lower tendencies, understanding that how I am going far away from the good things, how my previous vasanas are pulling me, that is actual education. To deal with our own self. I may be the famous lawyer in the world. When I stand for hearing Even the judge or judges of the Supreme Court respect me because of my knowledge. I can defeat the whole world putting a lot of reasonings. It's a completely different thing. Can I fight with my mind? Can I fight with my lower tendencies, which is pulling me down always, which is restraining me from my spiritual development, spiritual upliftment? That is the strength. A person can work for 24 hours. It doesn't signify his strength. Strength means when I can fight with myself. Like forgiving person. To forgive anyone else, we need a lot of strength than fight against anyone else. Who has ever forgiven anyone else? He or she knows. Sadhana, please, 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 at least my earnest request to the Vedanta student. Don't divert yourself. Sadhana doesn't mean that you have to sit like that and there will be no skin, nothing else. Jara jirna, without food day and night, without drinking, eating anything else, unnecessarily torturing my body and showing, and people comes also see that person. You know, this is that yogi staying 10 years in the cave. I respect them all. But you should know what is sadhana. Sadhana means fighting with our lower tendencies. All japa, meditation, prayer, everything helps us to do that. Whenever your mind and intellect is in your control, then the truth is just hastamalakavat, like a gooseberry in your palm. So, if you want to fight with your very, very strengthy mind, you have to acquire strength. How will you get the strength? By having food and very good drinks, health drinks? No. Sadhana Chatushtaya will give you strength. Sadhana Chatushtaya is the only food which will make you strengthen. Scriptures, Guru Vakya and Shastra Vakya is your only weapon. And Kripa Bhagavan. Kripa Bhagavan is there, you should know that. Bhagavan's grace is always there. Sri Ma used to tell, বাবা কৃপা বাতাস তো বইছে শুধু পাল তুলে দিলেই হলো. Means the grace is going on, only the, you know, the boat's mast. If you hang on and if you know how to deal with the air, your boat will run faster. In another place she told, মলয় বাতাস বইছে, সব চন্দন হয়ে যাবে। তারপরে বলছেন ঘাস বাঁশ ছাড়া। Bhagavan's grace is there to transform the ordinary wood into sandalwood. But we have to understand it. For that understanding, we need sadhana chatushtaya. We need kripa. We need enormous studying. Those are sadhana. If you are in the cave, but your mind is always what my husband is doing, what my son is doing, what all other things are doing, what this is not sadhana. You are not eating anything else, but your mind is in the food and drinks. Nothing will work. Be a sadhaka. Wherever you are, in which country you are, be a real aspirant, spiritual aspirant. Truth is there. It will be revealed soon. Hari Om Tat Sat.